All right, everybody, it's your boy Genius. Yes, I made it out to the range, even though it's a muddy mess out here and it's about 26 degrees. Man, it hasn't even mattered a bit because this thing has been a blast out here today at the range. I got a little bit carried away. I stopped during that montage of shooting, was going to open up the video like I always do, and decided to film a couple of shorts. Shot a whole box of steel Monarch ammunition that I picked up down at the Academy Sports, ate it up like nobody's business. And then I shot some 124 plus P jacketed hollow point. Decided that I wanted to zero it to make sure it was good with my 147 uh, um, silver tip, which is a round that I carry a lot. Why would I do that? Because I'm already considering carrying this. Man, what a blast to shoot. Yes, I got a little bit fast with it. Yes, I missed a few. Maybe you might think, oh, he wasn't as accurate as he normally is with some of his other guns or whatever. None of that is true. You have to understand that you see the very first time that I put a round down range with this gun. So I'm getting familiar with it as well, right? Either way, before we get started into talking about the gun, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Savior, there's literally nothing more important in your existence. Make sure you take care of that today. Ask me how you can know. I will be happy to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with you. Either way, I have loaded up 13 rounds of 147 in here, okay? A round that I carry often. It is not plus P. And I also have a 13 round magazine loaded up here with just 124 ball ammo, just so you can see the difference. What you saw there in the montage of shooting in the front of this video was all 115 grain Monarch, but I did shoot off camera, like I said. I filmed some shorts shooting the 147 and the 124 plus P, and of course the steel. Love this doggone gun. So if you've had the original Masada, Masada Slim, up top is going to be very familiar to you. It's basically the same. I don't think they made any changes to the serrations. Maybe they did. I don't have my original Masada, but nonetheless, it does not matter because the serrations are very functional, very usable. Deeper up at the top of the slide, and then kind of fades out, if you will, towards the bottom, but up at the top where it matters, very, very nicely done. The serrations at the back, same way. Aesthetically, I don't really like how they brought these serrations down onto the frame of the gun. I kind of wish maybe they would have just kept that smooth. It would have been a little cleaner looking. Does have a slightly raised white front dot sight serrated on the back, slightly raised as well, completely blacked out. You do have nearly a 100% co-witness with this Defender CCW, which sometimes can be an issue for me because it interferes with seeing my dot, but for some strange reason, it's not an issue on this. It seems to be just fine. I was able to stay on target without an issue. I did shoot a little bit with just the irons. Seems to be just as accurate as I remember the original Masada being. Very, very flat shooting. The recoil is very manageable. I hope you'll be able to see that. Sometimes people say it's snappy. The camera adds snappiness just like it adds 10 pounds. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way that's been my experience anyway. So has nice memory pads on each side for your support thumb to rest right where it should be. Very aggressive right there. Nice large trigger guard. One thing they did add was the 2-slot accessory rail up front, but the trigger guard on such a small compact gun, just absolutely huge. Very, very much reminds me of my P07, P09, almost as large as that on a very compact gun. It is serrated on the front, and nothing on the gun is ambi, although you can swap around the mag release. So the biggest change they did was change the texturing on the grip, and let me tell you, it is way better than the original. Like, it's not just something where they slapped a little more texture on there and like, all right, be happy with that. No, like when I was really gripping down on this thing shooting the 147, it actually was digging into the front of my fingers on the front strap here, as it does seem to be more heavily textured on the rear and on the front than is on the side, but it does not snag on your clothes. So it's not excessive, but way better than the original. The ergonomics on this, way better again than was the original, right? Just I ended up selling my original for those reasons, right? Did not have an accessory rail. The ergos on it were not that great, and it did not have interchangeable back straps. They changed that, so now you have three. The one that's on it, small, medium, large, I believe it is. I ended up putting the small on here. It really slimmed it down. Feels much like the FN Reflex XL or the Glock 48 in my hand now that I changed it down with the medium on there. My wife wasn't a fan. She liked it once I put the small one on there. Does have a flared mag well at the bottom here to assist or aid in reloads, but for me it just keeps my grip high and tight. You know that. I don't, beat the crap out of the bottom of my guns doing fast tactile reloads because I just don't care that much, right? It comes with a 17 rounder and a 13 round magazine. The magazines seem to be very good quality. They are logoed with IWI. I don't know if they make them or if someone makes them for them. People ask me. I have no idea. It came in a nice, hard plastic carrying case. And trigger, everybody talks about the trigger. So the trigger has a good amount of take up. It's just about like the original one. Nothing really seems to be changed there. A good amount of take up. And there's no real defined wall. It just kind of rolls through and breaks. I know some people have issue with that. I don't really care. It's a good trigger. You can be fast with the trigger simply because the reset is real short. Not super tactile in being audible, but it really shoves your finger back. You can feel it. So when you're out here at the range, you got your earplugs in, or even if you were in a defensive situation, it's loud, you're not going to hear a reset, but you're going to feel one, or I do anyway, right? So the audibleness of it is not as big of a deal to me as is, the shoving back, the tactile shove on your finger, if you will, and it definitely does that. So from the reset, you still have that creep, if you will, rolling brake, creep, whatever people refer to it as. You still have that after the reset. Reset is super short. I mean, it's not canic short, but it's short. Give you that follow-up shot. Shoves back on your finger, but it's not super audible. That's the only thing I got to say about the trigger. I don't care. I shot very well with it, stayed on target. Just a fun shooting gun out here at the range today. So I don't want to really yak too much about it because, again, I've done some shorts. I've kind of already told you, again, if you're familiar with the original Masada, then you'll be very familiar with this. On the top side, most of the changes, or if not all of them really, that were made were at the bottom. And in the frame, slimming it down with the option of putting on back straps and the flared mag well and the accessory rail that was added here, and just that way better stippling or aggression on the grip. So I'm going to shoot this 124. Now this is just range ammo, full metal jacket 124 versus the 115 that I had been shooting. Let you guys see the recoil on that. Then I'm gonna put the 147 down range, and I don't have any more plus P with me, so maybe I'll do another video, or actually I done a short with a plus P, so hopefully it'll be up if it ain't already, so you kind of get to see how it handles the plus P as well. But it handled it fine, just go ahead and tell you that. So anyway, 124 grain, just standard range ammunition. Just wore out the center of that target. I mean, again, I was joking a little bit when I said that the camera adds snappiness, but it really does. People sometimes will say guns are snappy. I'm like, that gun's not snappy at all. What are they talking about? and then I'll look back on the camera and watch it. And from the camera view, I kind of like agree with them. Like, well, I mean, it does kind of look snappy, but you just kind of, I guess, have to feel it for yourself. Another thing, and it is a consistent thing, right? I don't mind if I jam a magazine into a gun and the slide closes, so long as it is a consistent thing, so long as I don't have to jam it harder one time and then lighter the next time, as long as my normal reloads causes that to happen and it is consistent, I'm fine with that. But when you slam your magazine home, it does send the slide home, and I have no issue with that, so long as, again, it is consistent. This is 147 grain. It is not plus P. Let's see if we can feel the difference or see the difference in the recoil. Got the little dip of death. I'm gonna have to stop counting these rounds, thinking that because what happened that time is I thought there were more in there, and give it that little dip of death. Either way, the 147 grain, yes, it's not plus P, but naturally they hit harder. I don't know. You be the judge. To me, again, painting the center of that target. Metal guide rod, two-piece metal guide rod in here. I know people talk about that. The feed ramp was polished, right? Not so much now. It's got build-up all over it, but that's about 250 rounds today between the shorts, between what you saw at the front of this video, between everything. And I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe it's just because I haven't been to the range for 5 days, and I typically come at least every other day, sometimes every day. Maybe that's what it is. I didn't bring anything else to the range with me today, but I have had nothing but sheer pleasure shooting this gun out here at the range today. And if there's any questions you have about it that I'm sure I missed, sometimes I get excited. I want to shorten up the videos because people don't like long videos. If I missed anything, listen, I'm not one of those dudes, one of those YouTubers that does not or is not active in the comment section. I will answer your question. If you have a question about it, what about this? How does that feel? How does this feel? I will answer your question. So don't think or say in the comment section, this idiot didn't mention this, this idiot didn't mention that. Just ask me, and I would be more than happy to share anything I might have missed that you want to know about. More than happy to share that with you. I want to make a note about something else as well. So sometimes when you have these thinner guns like this, or these more compact guns, you can really grip down on it, especially if it has interchangeable back straps, and you could feel the flex in the mag well, right? And I always feel that. I don't know why. It's just something I pay attention to, being OCD. I don't know, but man, I can really put the grip on this, and I don't feel any flex at all in that gun, in that polymer, in that back strap. And also another thing I noticed is just how tight. I mean, there's hardly any movement in that slide to frame fitment right there at the rear. Like a lot of guns, you just get this unbelievable wobble back and forth, you know. It does move, but very, very little. It's very tight. And then on the front here, a lot of times, especially on my SIG fuse, had this huge gap between the slide and the frame, and it just flags back and forth. Like there's hardly any movement in that. It's a nice tight fitment, slide to frame fitment. Love the gun. Consider going over, supporting me, gsquaredtactical.com, that's squared with a D. Hit on the 3 lines in the corner, screen pops down, click on support channel, pick one of the tiers. You can wipe out the suggested price in the box beside name your price and put whatever it is you want to donate in there. I do get the most of that by a little bit. Patreon is real close to that. If you want to consider $5 a month donation over there, also, that would help a great deal. Again, as I've always promised, every bit of it will go back into ammunition, targets, editing, SD cards, hard drives, everything that goes in, storage space, and everything that goes into making these videos, it will go back into the channel. I don't care about this being a profitable thing. Just a wash would be fine with me. Sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ and helping people make a decision with how to spend their hard-earned money on firearms, be my great pleasure to do that. It's been a blast out here today with the IWI Masada Slim 9S Elite. They also make this in a that has a metal lower. Honestly, I can't wait to check that out. As beautifully as this thing is shot, it's got to be way better. The best way you can support me is to hit the thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Don't just watch and not subscribe. Be sure to subscribe. And as always, on this beautiful, cold, sunny day, to God be the glory.